Hey, what is up, YouTube boxing family? It is K-Rod here. I am back with another good video for y'all today. I wanted to give out a recent news update with Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez. But, just to be, respectful, Mr. Oscar Valdez got exposed by Mr. Shakur Stevenson, where he said the other day, "Hey, champ, make sure your coffee is clean. We don't want the tea situation to happen all over again." And basically what happened was that Shakur Stevenson commented below on one of Oscar Valdez's Instagram posts where he was drinking coffee. And Shakur, he was basically throwing, like a low shot at him, or throw, like a low blow comment at him to say, "Hey, make sure that, you're not drinking that herbal, phentermine, whatever bullshit tea excuse that he used against his last fight against Robson Conceição." And the thing is that, Shakur Stevenson has so much political control over Oscar Valdez that anything that could actually hurt and kill this fight, or even damage this fight, Shakur knows what he can do to make this fight a lot more controversial. And I think Oscar Valdez knows that he's in a really tough situation. And I think it's really clear to say that Shakur Stevenson is definitely moving the tables in his right direction. So the only problem out of this equation is just that Shakur, he's not knowing what's going to happen out of this equation. I think the biggest issue is just that when you have Shakur Stevenson being put in a tough situation where you don't know what Oscar Valdez is going to do to you on fight night, in which this fight is going to happen on April 30th, on my birthday. Shout out to Shakur Stevenson and Amanda the Real Deal Holyfield 2.0 Serrano. They will be fighting on my birthday, April 30th. I will be going to the Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor fight, so I'm definitely going to be recording that live. That's going to be a damn good event, and I'm definitely going to just be talking boxing and just having fun. But as far as everything else goes with Shakur and Valdez, that will be at the MGM Garden or, wherever in Las Vegas. And Valdez and Shakur are going to definitely get it going. See, now, I find this very interesting that Shakur Stevenson had said this towards Oscar Valdez, because this now puts more pressure on Oscar Valdez to not try to pull any dirty tricks on Shakur Stevenson. And if Oscar Valdez really wanted to go that route, he could really put himself in a really bad position where if he does try to cheat and Shakur's team finds out that he is cheating, Shakur can sue for legal damages if that's going to be the case. I think that's something that could very well happen, because Shakur is not going to let a guy like Oscar Valdez try to, screw his career over. And knowing that this is Top Rank and anything, fishy can come out of, this promotional stable, where there has been many cases of fighters cheating in the past on Top Rank. And I think this would be a horrible representation of another case of cheating if it actually goes that bad, where Oscar Valdez, he has to have a physical advantage over Shakur Stevenson or some sort of performance-enhancing, drug to help him, win the fight, which, it makes zero fucking sense. And I would really hope Shakur understands that this is nothing to be played with. You have to watch every single move in the boxing world. People like to call boxing the wild, wild west. I just call it the violent red market. That is, pretty much a representation of the red market, wild west, where there is, there's blood involved in this sport, and there's a lot of dirty, demonic, actions behind the sport. because the sport itself is not properly regulated in a marketized competitive manner to eliminate the bad actors in the sport or reduce it to that particular degree. But as far as this situation goes, I think Shakur is definitely on his way to bigger and better things if he can get past Oscar Valdez, because that does set him up with a big fight against Chris Colbert, and then he could have a unification with Kenichi Ogawa if he's successful. So I mean, there's really basically less than 2 fights left for Shakur to get all the belts and have his way. Obviously, Chris Colbert's not a champion yet. He has to get through Roger Gutierrez, which that could very well become a massive upset if Chris Colbert fucks around and actually does something really stupid at that fight. But I would hope he will be successful in that fight. Oh, and on top of that, Chris Colbert, I believe he is fighting next weekend, along with Mr. Virgil Ortiz, and then obviously Rihanna Rios. So I can't wait for that. That's going to be really fun if that's going to be the case. So yeah, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it's like Shakur has a lot of power to to basically sway this this entire fight to see where things are going to go. And yeah, that's going to be really interesting. Oh, and correction, Chris Colbert will be fighting Hector Garcia. I totally forgot about that because Roger Gutierrez had COVID from what I heard, so I believe this was the last minute replacement to cover for this fight. So yeah, hopefully Chris Colbert can make his way to be successful. Hector Garcia, from what I hear, he's nothing to be played with, but I wouldn't be surprised if this fight actually does go a certain direction to make it competitive and very red alert upsetting. So definitely be on the lookout for this. This is going to be a good fight. That'll be out in Vegas, so I think Chris Colbert should get the job done, but definitely be on the lookout for this fight. This is going to be a really crazy good fight. So as far as the Shakur, Stevenson, and Valdez situation, there's a lot of decisions that Chris can go through, or Shakur Stevenson can go through. He can, one, try to see how this is going to play out leading up to fight night, and two, make sure that there's consistent drug testing for this fight. Shakur, if you are watching, or anybody out of his team is watching, I would heavily suggest making sure that it's under VADA and USADA to make sure that this is a fair 100% clean fight. Because if it's not going to be a clean fight and Oscar Valdez can get through some particular drug that can just help him get prepared easier for the fight, and then he just comes in super strong, and then he messes around and tries to hurt Shakur and beat him by cheating, then that's bad news. But I don't think that's something that could possibly happen. I'm sure Shakur and his team are heavily vigorous on that, or being on that, and I would really hope that does actually come into place, because Shakur should not be cheated at all, and I would hate to see him be put in a bad situation where somebody tries to mess around and try to screw his career over, if not violently damaging his career. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't really have that much else to really say, but yeah, shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Shakur should keep applying pressure, keep playing mind games with Oscar Valdez, and make sure that he comes in clean for that fight, because come April 30th, Oscar, you're gonna make sure that you eat your words very very well, and yeah, don't be surprised if you can't cheat, as much as you tried to do, in the Conceição fight. So I will definitely keep my eye out on this. I will keep you guys updated with more content coming up, and yeah, shout out to the mighty LDBC. I'll see you guys later. Bye.